TV.
You can see that there were bowls of warm water with bottles of baby oil in it. And she explained that we were going to create this scene where I was going to put baby oil on myself. She was going to do the same. We may oil each other, and eventually her husband would come out and watch at some point.
That's the Punisher. Appeared on this program when we talked about his experience with Cassie, his experience with Diddy, and he was hired to perform certain acts with Diddy and Cassie. Let's take a listen to a little bit more, because I think he gave us great insight into some of the things that Diddy was into, so we have a better perspective on what type of behavior we are talking about.
He never partakes. He's always, for the most part, a great distance away. And almost all of his interactions was just directions in terms of visual cues, body positioning, a suggestion of maybe more oil. And if there was further suggestions, I didn't hear them, because there was a routine. If they needed to have a conversation, he would stand up at times and just walk out of the room. And Ms. Ventura would take that as a cue, leave the room with him. They would have a brief conversation, be gone for a period of time, and then she would return and we would resume. And sometimes with her resuming, she would give me instructions or the act or something would change. But I don't know if that was directly from him or her. But I know all of their communications were outside of an environment for me to see or hear. So I can't give you the real structure or means of where the directions came from. While we were in the acting mode, it wasn't really any conversation between me and her, other than us playing our roles. And as I was not supposed to acknowledge Mr. Combs, he didn't acknowledge and speak to me in any way. He would give subtle directions to Ms. Ventura in regards to more of lighting situations. The room was candlelit, it was kind of dim, so he would give instructions in terms of move the candles a little bit more, position your body this way. Even if it was something for me to do, he would ask her to ask me.
It's a little bizarre what was going on behind closed doors in the world of Diddy. And that brings us to the next question in our investigation. If Diddy gets out, which could happen, he could get time served, that's what the defense is asking for, what will his private life be like after all of this and all of this made so public? Here to help with our investigation is media personality, artist, and actor Headkrack, and still with us, celebrity lawyer Chris Melcher. All right, Headkrack, what are your thoughts here? He's going to get out at some point, but if he gets out pretty quickly, what do you think this private life of Diddy's is going to be like?
I mean, I think you might get a good 6 months of a guy who's kind of like scaled things back, not partying as hard, showing you that he is this changed person. And then slowly you'll see the ties start to loosen back up. And I think it might be back to, I'm not going to say 100% business as usual, but I think once you're into what you're into, it's hard to go backwards. You know what I mean? And it's just hard to really just gauge how fast we'll get back to the regularly scheduled program, because this guy likes to have a good time.
What are your, let me ask a follow-up to that, because it takes at least 2, 3 or so to tango. What will the reaction be from friends? What will the reaction be from some of, I guess, the women in his life?
I mean, there's a lot of people who are in a situation where they need somebody to help them maintain their lifestyle. So a lot of people already knew what they were signing up for the first time. So I think there will be no shortage of people who already know what's on the agenda, what's on the menu, and they're willing to play. You know what I mean? Because even as I was watching the interview with the Punisher, I'm like, it's wild how only one person got arrested over this. Not the person who actually did the acts, you know what I'm saying, got paid to do the acts, but the person who solicited and was just, getting his own kinks off in the corner watching. It's really interesting to see how that played out. But there will be no shortage of people who want to sign up for the next Diddy party, whatever that looks like.
All right, Chris Melcher, do you think there's a discussion with his attorneys, for how he should comport himself in the future? Is that part of the job, or is it just the trial's over and he goes off on his own?
Well, I think there is a future for him. He's extraordinarily successful. I mean, he started as an intern at a record label and formed his own label. He's been very successful as an artist. And here, this is just part of his story. And we like the underdog in some stories. I don't know that necessarily fits him, but when people fall from grace and they accept it and they say, I learned from it and I'm going to share my story, that is interesting, and he will have a second chance. All of us do get one. And as long as he can be productive and make money, there will be people who will definitely accept him back. So I think that kind of message will be sent to him. And obviously he's going to be under a lot of scrutiny here as a convicted felon, but he definitely has a lot more of a story to tell.
Would you advise him to not engage in any of this type of behavior, Chris, if he was your client?
Well, I mean, my advice is often not taken for, these type of things. He was driven by something, very powerful to make him do these type of things. It's like, and it's unimaginable, but this was something so pervasive in his life that caused him to do this, not just once, but many times. So I think that is going to be the struggle. And it's not really for a lawyer, but it's for a counselor or psychologist to help him work through when he has these urges again, which I got to imagine are going to happen, not to act on them.
Headkrack, has public sentiment changed since the most serious charges were all not guilties here?
The shift that I've been seeing online is insane. A lot of people have completely did a 180. A lot of times the narrative I've been seeing on a lot of social media, sites, especially in the comments, because I like to swim through there and see what people talk about. A lot of people's like, man, ain't nothing wrong with being freaky. Let that man out. He done did his time and all that other stuff. Because I think when you look far and large based on the things that he was found not guilty of and how long they're trying to keep him for the things that he was found guilty of, a lot of people feel the justice is really lopsided on that. So I think a lot of people are rooting for his return, and hopefully this is a cautionary tale that teaches people to move better. I don't know what that looks like in totality, but I think a lot of people are paying attention, taking notes, and they're going to act accordingly moving forward.
Big thanks. Great to see you, Headkrack. Chris Melcher, always a pleasure.
Likewise.
All right, folks, I'm a former state prosecutor. Now, if Diddy was in state court, where I practice in New Jersey, and was convicted of transporting a male prostitute to have sex with his girlfriend, he would likely get probation. I'm not exaggerating. It would be a probation case. But Diddy is in federal court, and it looks like the judge may consider more of Diddy's behavior beyond the actual charges. And as a result, I don't think it's going to be a good Friday for Diddy. I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.